In today's video, I'm going to be showing you all how to add estimates on Jira. If you recall in our last video, we created projects, we created a sprint. I showed you all how to move bulk sprints from backlog to the sprint backlog. And we discussed writing user stories, Epic, and all of that on Jira. And today I'm going to be going over like estimation. And if you missed my last video on the true ways of estimating in Agile, the benefits of estimation, the role of a Scrum Master during estimation, look down in my last video that can help you, give you that background knowledge before it can help you to understand how we can do it here on Jira. I will highly encourage you to watch that video on estimation before you come to watching the Jira way of writing or adding estimates on user stories on Jira. So now, if you recall, we have our product backlog and we have our sprint backlog. And our sprint backlog, before we start this sprint, we already know that we have like 5 issues, regardless of the issue type. This is just Jira summarizing what we have in our sprint backlog. And as you all know that how you can differentiate between a product backlog and a sprint backlog, just a quick recap. You see at the product backlog, it will always show you create sprints. And on the sprint backlog, it's asking me to start a sprint. And I will also can edit these dates by clicking the 3 dots. And I can edit sprints and put in the time that I want it, if I wanted that. If you missed my last video on sprints, please also take a look at that. Oh, what happened? Okay, I closed the sprints. So this arrow that's pointing to the right side, you click on that, it opens all the items, all the issues you have in the sprint. So this is close, open. I remember when I was a new Scrum Master, this happened. I was like, oh my God, what happened to all my stories? My stories disappeared. I didn't know that it actually is the arrow thing that I have to open here and there. So just in case that happened to you, you can also do the same thing in the product backlog. You click and you open. So now, putting estimation in Jira, there's different ways you can do that. If you notice, if I hover each of these issues, this line dots is telling me to add my story points estimate. So one way I can put it is to click on that, and let's say with the team we agree on a 3. So I put a 3 and I click the checkbox. And voila, automatically it gives me the story points number that I put. So that's one way to do it. And if I want to delete it, I just simply click on it and I hit delete and I hit checkbox and it deletes it. So that's one way to add your estimates directly from your backlog view, right? This is the backlog view. Directly we can add this from there. And you click on that dot and you add the number. Another way you can do this is to open the story itself, right? You click on the story. So let me close this. You click on the story. So when you click on the story, but you know best practice before you can even give estimates to the story, especially when you're doing relative estimates, you should already discuss this as a team. You already go over the description, go over the acceptance criteria, and the team already asks any clarifying question, everything needed before we come and give you the estimates. And its best practices is for us to introduce the Agile POKER or the planning POKER, which I plan to show you soon. And then you come here to story points estimates. So in the story points estimate, you can also, where it says none, you just click on it. And when you click on it, and you just use that same number 3, and then click on 3, and I hit the checkbox. You see, as I click on the checkbox, it automatically shows up here. So those are 2 different ways you can put estimates. So now, let me show you all about Agile POKER before we put on estimates for the others and also start our sprint. And let's say that now we're in sprint planning and the product owner already prioritized these 5 issues as the most important, the most valuable for us to complete in the upcoming sprint. And we agreed on this. We already started those conversations since backlog refinement, and now we're in sprint planning. And we've opened each of the stories, we have a conversation on them, everyone understands the requirements, and we've opened all of them, went over each of the stories, asked any clarifying questions needed. And as a Scrum Master, I am looking at the description, the acceptance criteria, look if there's any epic related. All right, I'm looking for my epics. Is the epic linked to this feature, or is it something just a one-time task we have to complete? But I see this is a task, right? The color code, the difference. Sometimes when you hover over this, it tells you task, right? So I see this is a task, but at the same time, my task is still linked to an epic, which is good for me. I like to see all those checks. And I see it's already in current sprint. It's already assigned to no one at this moment. And then I'm looking at who wrote it. I saw that I wrote it, and the product owner name can be there and whoever that wrote it. And then we went over everything when we agree. So now, if we all agree on this next prioritized item, then we have to do our estimation. So to do the estimate, I'm going to show the Planning POKER website. And I know like sometimes company preference, right? Sometimes companies, you are not even allowed to bring outside link into your company's platform. And sometimes too, in your company, you have Jira, Agile, POKER in your Jira. Yes, sometimes you can also play your games through that. And I know like some companies too, they use the charts, but they at least use some kind of tools that can help you ensure that your vote is an unanimous vote, right? So that's why we're even doing this planning POKER to begin with, is to ensure that everyone is voting based on their own knowledge, their own experience, and how much effort they think it will take them to complete the task based on the understanding of the request. And we are doing this tool, using these tools just to ensure that everyone is voting unanimously. People's vote is not inflicting on others. It's not making other people change their votes, but we are voting anonymously. So to come to Agile POKER, you just go to the website, you put planningpoker.com, you put planningpoker.com, it takes you to the homepage. Maybe let me just click on Planning POKER homepage, because I already created an account with them. You can sometimes still send you to the homepage to create an account. So I already have my name on top, because I already created an account with them. And if you create an account with them, then it takes you to this homepage. So yours might be blank because you've never done anything. So I can just maybe delete this game. Yes, I'm going to delete this one. So now it takes you to this homepage of blank stuff. And let's say we are discussing to vote on these tasks, understand the Scrum events. And that's something we want to vote on, to understand the Scrum events. Was able to vote on this, and now we are asking the team members to all come in here. But what I've done, what I always do prior to sprint planning, is to already come in and log in to Planning POKER, already created my game, have those all open, and I know during backlog refinements, my team already agree on those. So I already like roughly know what stories we'll be planning on to work on in the next sprint. And during sprint planning, I further validate it, but I already like go to this website, create this game, and let that open. So I'm not going to be spending time, wasting time, using our sprint planning time to create this thing. But instead, I'm doing it now, but I'm just going to have this open because I want to show you all how to do it. Then I'll hit create new game. So when I create a new game, and the game name, I'll just put it Scrum 101. Or in this case, so you can put it like sprint 5, sprint 10, sprint 13, however you want to call your sprint name. And you can put description, but it's not mandatory. So then it's asking me, they have this questionnaire and how you want your deck cards to be, and you have to answer all of these questions. And then it's telling you here, what do I want? I want the velocity, right? Are you also effort planning? Yes, because we are effort planning. I put yes, please deal me cards because we want our effort planning. And it's asking you what kind of choose your card sets, and the card set I'm choosing, we have the Fibonacci numbers, right? The Fibonacci sequence, which those numbers will now be put to the card in our user storyboard. So then those will not be our story points. And it's telling me if I want to use modified Fibonacci sequence, if I want to use the t-shirt sizing, or if I want to use powers. These are all different numbers. And they have Roman numerals, right? You can also use that. But in this case, for the most part, teams have always used Fibonacci sequence. And I've also seen people use modified Fibonacci sequence, because then you can put the half, 1, 2, 3. But for the most part, I've just used the regular one, the Fibonacci sequence. The 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. You add the two numbers to get the next number. 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 5 is 8, 5 plus 8 is 13, 8 plus 13 is 21, and 13 plus 21 is 34. So that's the number. You add the last two numbers to get the next number. So that's why we don't have a 4. So that's the Fibonacci sequence number, and it's asking me, would you like to auto flip the cards? No, I don't want to auto flip the cards, because I want to ensure that everyone's already voted, everyone already participated. I don't want just the planning poker to auto flip it. I want to, since I'll be the facilitator as the Scrum Master, I would like to flip my card. So I put no. Would you like to allow players to change their votes after the review? No. I am not allowing players to change their votes, because that's why I'm even doing this in the first place, right? So people won't change their votes. Would you like to allow players to change their votes after the review? No, I don't want them to even change their vote after the review. Would you like Planning Poker to calculate the scores? No, I don't want them to calculate any scores, because my goal is to ask the people that voted the lowest to explain to me why, and the team member that voted the highest to tell me the reason behind that. And would you like a story timer? Yes, I want to have it 1 minute or less, because it's good, because in Scrum, everything is time boxed, right? So then after that, if you want to add the link for the stories, you can add that. But for the most part, what I've done, I just come in here and put the ticket number that I'm voting on, which is, in the Scrum event, it's AIS 10. AIS 10, then I put AIS 10, then I start the game. And when I start the game, and it's asking me that I can add more story in here. I can add more story. And also, I can add invites. So let me say I want to invite people. You can even copy this link and send it to the people you want, or I can share via email. I can add people's email and ask them to come join my board, right? For the most part, what I've done is to ask people to just copy the email and put it on the chat box on your Zoom chat or your Microsoft Team chat, so people can come in here. So now, if everyone is already in, everyone is already, I've invited people, they all come in. And people, let's say I've already invited my people and people are coming, and now I'm telling people we are voting on this user story AIS 10. Then let's say that you see it's telling me here Aisha has arrived, and anyone else that I invite will also show up here. So and so person have arrived, that person have arrived, that person have arrived. So all the name will start showing up at the bottom. So then I hit start the game. So when I do start the game, you see all the other team members, participants' name down here. Look at the timer. The timer is already going on. The timer will be there, and you can also add the minutes if needed to give people more time. But then all the other participants will show up here, so they all will be ready to play the deck. And at the bottom, we have the different numbers in the Fibonacci sequence. And let's say this AIS 10, I voted 5, so I just click 5. So when I do voted 5, and other team members can come in and choose any card they want, and they all can vote what they want. And when everyone is done, and I'm announcing, is everyone done voting? Then I'm like, oh, yes, we're done. Yes, I've done it. Then I'll flip the cards. And when I do flip the cards, then it's telling me, oh, it's giving it 5, because right now I'm the only one that voted, right? But let's say other people voted, then I'm asking the team member that voted the lowest to please explain. I always start with the lowest, because I feel like the person that voted the lowest have maybe something they would like to share for the other team members. Usually there's a huge gap between someone voting a 3 and someone voting a 13. So then maybe the person that voted the lowest can help guide us to help the other people to explain further about the work, so it can help the people that voted the highest. So by the time I ask the person that voted the highest, they already heard a lot of knowledge coming from that person that voted the lowest that can even help them. So when we do revotes, it will also help them, assist them. So that's how we do. And then the conversation will happen. They will do one more revote, and to revote, you just hit reset. I hit reset. And when I hit reset, then everyone can come in and do their vote again, and I'll vote my own vote again. Two. And then if people voted, then, oh, he joined. So then we voted. So then okay, is everyone done voting? Do anyone need any more time? You know, you also always want to check at every given point. Then I flip my cards. Oh, so we voted so close. I voted 2 and he voted 3. So then we'll have a conversation about that. And then based on maybe the explanation that he will give that will help me and guide me, okay, I'm comfortable. So I think I'll go by 3. So based on that, oh no, or what do you think about us going by 2? Then of course we'll talk together as a team. If we agree, like, okay, we agree. So let's just give this a 2. So then I come to my Jira board and I go to that task and I click here and I give it a 2 and I hit the checkbox. And I'll continue doing that for all of the stories. We'll continue doing that for all of the stories. And all you have to do is go back to the planning poker. You see how quick it is to do it, and you just reset. You reset, and now you tell the team member, okay, now team, we're going to be voting on user story 11, AIS 11. And then they'll vote on that again. You have a conversation and you do revote. You do it like until you're done estimating all of your tasks. So the goal of using planning poker is to make our votes anonymous and get us to have everyone through point of view, so that everyone can have this conversation and we come to an agreement. Let's say we already went through all the planning poker, everyone agreed, and we voted this for 5, and we voted this for 2, and we voted this for 1. It is very important to know that when we can commit to anything in a sprint, it's very important for us to ensure that every story have a vote, right? Everyone have some kind of conversation and understanding on it. So then we commit to it. So that's all for this video on how to use planning poker and add estimation on the board. In my next video, I'm going to show you all on how to start the sprint and how to update the Scrum board and all of that. See you again next time. Thank you very much. If you find my content valuable, please like and subscribe to Aisha Scrum, and see you all again next time.